Before empires, before colonizers, before history was even written, South Africa was already alive. Not just with people, but with the very first humans to ever walk this earth. This is not just a country's history. This is the story of humanity itself. Over 200,000 years ago, early humans roamed the lands of what we now call South Africa. They were the ancestors of all mankind. Among the earliest known groups were the San and Khoikhoi, masters of survival, hunters, gatherers, storytellers. They left behind their legacy, etched into stone, hidden in places like the Drakensberg Mountains, where their art still whispers across time. Then, something changed. From Central Africa, new people began to arrive. This was the Bantu migration. They brought iron tools, farming, and something powerful, civilization. Communities grew into kingdoms. The ancestors of the Zulu, Xhosa, and Sotho began to rise. Africa was not empty. It was thriving. Then came the ships. In 1488, a man named Bartholomew Dias reached the southern tip of Africa. Soon after, Vasco da Gama followed. They weren't here to stay. Not yet. But everything was about to change. In 1652, the Dutch East India Company arrived. Led by Jan van Riebeeck. They built a settlement at the Cape. But settlements don't stay small. They expand. Land was taken. Communities were pushed aside. The Boers moved deeper inland. And conflict became inevitable. The British entered the scene. And suddenly, South Africa became a battlefield. The Anglo-Zulu War shook the land. The First Boer War ignited resistance. The Second Boer War changed everything. Empires clashed. Kingdoms fought. Lives were lost. And in the end, power fell into the hands of a few. In 1910, the Union of South Africa was formed. But this union excluded the majority. Black South Africans had no voice, no power, no rights. The foundation for something darker had been set. In 1948, it became official. Apartheid. A system designed to divide people by race. Where you lived, where you worked, even who you loved, was controlled. But oppression always meets resistance. Led by figures like Nelson Mandela and the African National Congress, the people began to fight back. Mandela spent 27 years in prison. But his spirit never broke. In 1994, the impossible happened. Apartheid ended. For the first time, all South Africans could vote. And Nelson Mandela became president. A new nation was born. Today, South Africa is called the Rainbow Nation. A symbol of unity after division. But its journey is not over. Because history doesn't end. It continues. And South Africa's story is still being written. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more powerful histories. Because the past isn't just history. It's everything.